Everything's good, General. Let me know at the end of the tour. And in case of any medical emergencies, there are the strips to wash your hands. Press and hold the strips to quickly notify me hand to count. Hold right behind me, wave your arms or simply knock on my window to get my attention. Alright, roll to the side, front part, the animal. Over to the left, you'll slide on full power after rest onto the palm tree. I'm sprinkling a basilisk up on my whole side. This is just a little quick sneak peek of East Africa, as we will be returning out here at the end of the tour. So we're going to be venturing out to the big field, taking a look at many different species of wildlife, their different behaviors and physical adaptations they have to help them thrive in their environment. On the right, we will find a flamboyance. These flamboyants are greater flamingos. They live in salty marshes, where it tends to get pretty hot. So having this extra light pink feathers will help to reflect heat and keep themselves cool in their hot environment. Kind of like wearing a light colored clothing instead of dark colored clothing on a hot sunny day. This San Diego Zoo Safari Park is part of our two front doors. Our other doors, the San Diego Zoo. We are both part of the San Diego Zoo Wildlife Alliance. And when you pass by any of our two front doors or purchase anything at the park, you not only help us out with many conservation projects all over the world, they help us provide a world where all life can thrive. And coming up to the right, the Nikita Khan Rhino Rescue Center, one of our in-house conservation projects. And there is a crowd of rhinos in there. To find the rhinos, you're going to look around for any large moving boulder or any boulder with wiggling ears. And those will be your rhinos.
Rhinos. Here comes the rhinos.
Right, when the tram is stopped, you're more than welcome to stand up. Just remember that when the tram is moving, just sit back down. But the rhinos here on the right are all southern white rhinos. These lovely ladies have a very important job because one day they're going to become surrogate mothers through in vitro, helping out their closest relatives, the northern white rhino. But sadly, there's only two left in the whole entire world. But with all the research and work we're doing here in the park,
Only two
we
rhinos
do hope
left
to help those last two rhinos
of this
and their whole
species.
species come back from the brink of extinction. Kind of like what they did in Jurassic Park, but hopefully less fighty. Looks like only two of the girls are visible. Most of the time they do like to hang out in this little. But we're going to continue to see a lot more species. Always a bunch of local birds out here in the pond, from cormorants up on the palm trees in the island to a sprinkling of ducks throughout the pond. Sometimes you'll find ibises or snowy egrets on the shoreline. So past the water, you'll start to see the savanna habitat. This is the main area we're going to go out and explore. We're also going to be passing by the African forest and part of our local habitat. Lots and lots of antelopes are going to see out here. So if you do love antelopes, this is definitely going to be the tour for you. The antelopes we'll be seeing are going to be coming in various different shapes, sizes, and colors.
some giraffes coming up.
Well, we'll find antelopes both on the left and on the right. On the left side, they're the biggest out here. They look like caramelly cows. They are the Patterson Eland. If you could go out there and stand right next to one, just to give you a peek at how big they are. From their shoulders down, they measure about 6 feet. Across the way on the right, let's see if they're they're still there. On the right side of the tram, you'll find some white ones with very fiery horns. Those are the Attic. That white fur of theirs, just like the flamingo feathers, they'll be able to reflect heat and keep themselves cool. However, the Attics actually change colors. They don't stay white the whole year round. They get a little tan during the winter. That darker fur color helps them to absorb heat during the winter times, which even though they live in the desert, it gets pretty cold in the mornings.
Oh, I didn't know.
We've got the giraffes out there in the distance. We'll try our best to catch them on the other side too. But just in case they decide to move while we're gone, I'll take a little pause here if you guys want to take some pictures and look at the giraffes. There's some adults out there and a tiny baby. Hopefully you guys spotted the little baby out there in the distance.
How cute.
If you haven't found them, take a look at that fallen log. The huge fallen tree. Right in front of it, you'll find a little nugget. So that little baby, which hopefully we'll get to see him a little closer a little later, is already 2 months old, and he measures a little over 7 feet.
That's
So
nice. I
very
don't
big.
know.
That little baby giraffe is going to grow pretty fast in his first year. By the time he reaches his first birthday, he'll be measuring between 10 to 11 feet. So hopefully they stay up there. We can get a closer look at them a little later. Alright, we're gonna find some more antelopes under the trees. They're grayish lavender in color. They have luchador masks or superhero masks and very, very long horns. Those horns of theirs can get up to 4 feet in length. Maybe as tall as some of you kids on the trail. But those long horns are great for defense and to scratch an itchy back. Many of the antelopes with the very long horns occasionally use those horns as back scratchers. So sometimes you actually see them, and it's very funny when you see it the first time. There's also some little springboks at the very top of the hill. We'll get a closer look at them a little later. And it looks like mostly everybody's in the beginning. So let's see if some equines. The equines that we find on the right side are going to be grayish lavender in color, like those animals. However, they like to wear little zebra stockings. It looks like they're at the very top under the pepper trees. So there you can find a herd of Somali wild ass. And if you're looking for babies out here in the field, they do have 2 Somali wild ass babies. Yeah, they do have a very weird and silly name. Well, that's their name. These guys are also part of a conservation project. There's not too many of them left, a little bit over 100, and not too many zoos have these guys. Here at the safari park, it had been over 10 years since we had a little baby born here of the Somalis. But 8 months ago, the 2 little guys up there were born. Right now, being 8 months, they're getting really big. You have to carefully look at them. They're exact little copies of their moms, just slightly smaller. But our hope is one day we can help the Somali wild ass go back into the wild, be reintroduced, and help with their numbers. Alright, we're going to continue our way up. We're going to leave the savanna habitat just for a tad as we head up to the forest. There's lots of hiking spots out here, trees, bushes. But if you carefully look out there, you might see some of the wildlife. See if you guys spotted any rhinos as we head out. They're not going to be anywhere super close. You're going to have to look at one of the trees way off in the distance. I'll give you a clue. They're right next to rocks, and there's a zebra hanging out with them. Sometimes rhinos look like rocks from a distance. They accidentally camouflage. So hopefully you can spot the boys over there camouflaging themselves to look like rocks.
Might be a rhino.
There's some Ugandan cubs. We hear super popular. If you didn't get a chance to see Arthur and Mawazi from here, don't worry. Sometimes the boys do a really good Boulder impression. And they found a nice little spot to do their Boulder impression today. We're going to try and take a look at them on the other side. So there'll be another chance. So we're going to make our way up here to the bridge. And at the bridge, we're going to be at the highest point. So from up here, we're able to see the whole savanna habitat, the surrounding San Pascual area. Super pretty. Once in a while, we'll even see the balloons. But right now, here by the water, it looks like the road boys are taking a nice little dip and a drink.
Oh, how cute. Let's see this.
I love when we get to see the roads in the water. On the right side, you might see some of the extreme hide and seekers. So there's a bunch of antelopes out here, but they're really good at hiding. Once in a while, if you look over there by the bridge, there are some bongos out there amongst the shade. There's also some red lunchways walking around. You can find some red-fronted gazelles and the saritangas. We'll take a pause right here. Besides the antelopes all around us, you also see a lot of tiny birds just zooming on by. Those are cliff swallows. They migrate here to Southern California every year during the summertime, and you can find them all over San Diego, anywhere where there's a town building or a bridge, because they love to build their little huts at those two places. So right under this bridge, they've got a ton of tiny little huts they built, but they don't use sticks. Instead, they use the mud. This is where they're going to lay their eggs and have their babies before they migrate off. Those are wildebeest. They are a type of antelope, so they are going to look a little different from most of the antelopes we've seen. But if you look under the trees, you might see them along with their three babies. Those babies are extra light brown, a little grayish, with thigh-high socks. There's three of them. They're super cute. The two oldest ones are about to turn a whole month old, and the baby, the littlest one, he just turned a whole week old today. So they're just little nuggets. How cute. Can you just move up just a little bit more forward? Yeah, you definitely have to stand here. There is a lot of shrubs next to us, so it makes it a little hard to see them sometimes. It looks like Arthur and Melody stood up from their little napping area, and they're just walking around in the shade back there. The zebra is back there with them. It's a little hard to see because of the truck on my end. I'm not sure if you can see him back there. That truck of people is one of our tours. It's the wildlife safari. It's one of our extra tours, one that you can go inside and get a little closer look, like you see right there. Alright, we're gonna continue our way down and let's check out the other side where all the animals are up on the hills. As we make our way over to them, we get a pretty good view of our own local habitat out here. The plant life around us, to the hillsides and mountainsides. This local habitat is known as the California coastal sagebrush, one of the most endangered habitats out here in North America. It's also our own backyard, so we need to make sure we protect it. They can be around for many generations to come. The San Diego Zoo Safari Park has set aside 900 acres out here of local habitat to never be developed. But that doesn't mean we get a lot of local visitors. For the birds that fly in, to the ground squirrels out here in the field, you might stumble into a few bunnies in the bushes throughout the park. You might bypass quail, road runner, or even a deer. So keep an eye out as you continue to explore. But to continue to have our local wildlife around, we've got to do our part as well by recycling, saving water, or even planting local and native plants within our gardens. Or if you're more into computers, you can always log on to Wildlife Watch Burrowing Owls and help scientists look through thousands of pictures for the tiny little ground owls of any local wildlife. Let's see, it does look like some of the giraffes are still hanging out somewhat close. The baby is a little tired. It's very hard to be a little baby giraffe out here. As he takes a little sit on the grass, he's all neck. Baby giraffes always look so weird when they're little, when they sit down. It looks like it's
Is
just all
that a
neck.
baby giraffe already?
But if you guys didn't notice, because we're a little farther away, look how different these giraffes might look. They're much darker in color, and their spots are much smaller and more splotchier.
There's the
They
baby
are the
saying no.
Maasai giraffes. And this dark color for Maasais helps them to be able to camouflage under the trees. They can easily blend into the trunks and branches of the trees, while their little spots helps to mimic the shadows of leaves above their heads. So up here we've got three girls, the little boy, and if you look way down towards the water, there's the male giraffe down there. He's the darkest one of them all. And he looks just like a tree from over here.
I can
He's
see him.
stretching up, he's grabbing all the leaves from up there in that tree.
Oh, it looks like there's a double tree trunk, but one of those
Right in
trunks
the
is the
corner,
giraffe.
also in the dark color, the Cape Buffaloes. They found a nice little shady spot over here in the corner. These guys are super tough. They aren't afraid to even stand up against a lion. Look for protective circles, making sure to keep each other safe. They're also a little nosy sometimes. You will always catch at least one of the Cape Buffaloes staring. And they can stare you down with the most serious face. These guys truly have RBF, resting buffalo face. You'll still be able to see them right here in the little opening. They have three babies. Their babies are getting really big now. Alright, we're gonna head it back towards east. Take another quick look, see if we're able to spot any more wildlife before heading to the station. Alright, we made it back to East. We're gonna head over to the palm trees because it looks like the giraffes are still out there. Oh no, some of them are on this side. So I'm trying to see if we're closer. I think the ones in the palm trees are a little closer. So these giraffes are very different from them in size, much lighter in color, and the bigger spots. Aside from being very, very tall, giraffes also have a very long tongue. Their tongues are prehensile. Basically, it's gonna act like a little finger for the giraffe. They're able to grab branches off of trees and lick the trees. Giraffes love bark. And if you look out there amongst the palm trees, you'll know which of the palm trees they love the most. But if you're curious about the length of those giraffe tongues, measure from the tip of your fingers all the way up towards your elbow. For little kids, fingertips to your shoulders. And that is about the length of a full grown giraffe tongue, which is about a whole 18 to 20 inches. That's a lot of tongue. But the giraffes love it because it's the only way they're able to pick the leaves off of the trees and pick their noses.
One is eating the bark.
Do we have a taker? I was wondering if she was going to come over to the feeding troughs. Once in a while, they'll come over, and they like to eat off the feeding troughs here by the wall. Depends on the giraffe. Some of the giraffes are okay with the troughs getting close. Some of them don't really like the big giant green snake. We're a bit noisy to some of them. No takers. Similar to the little springboks, these little guys out here are Tommy gazelles. Those little antelopes out there. Besides that, it looks like everybody's up on the hillside. The rhinos out here, there's 8 in total, are hanging out poolside. It might be a little hard to see them as we round the corner. They do look like rocks, but if you look through gate 1, you might be able to see 1 or 2 of the rhinos. They're all just hanging out over there. There's a big watering hole over there, and that's where all the rhinos are. They're hanging by the pool. I hope you guys all enjoyed yourselves. I got some good pictures. There's a few little baby ducks on our left as we pass by. But again, with you just entering through any of our 2 front doors, not only helps us out with many conservation projects all over the world, but you help us provide a
Thanks for
world
watching the
where
live stream,
all life is
everybody. It
beautiful.
looks like our tour is come to an end.
They might still be out, but the antelopes over to our left are lowland Nialas. The females and babies will be in the old. The female lion is coming out. She's on the right.
A lion.
Oh, this is the girls. They're so much fun. They look like they are a little bit more awake. They're done with their big long cat nap. But as you reach the station, please remain seated until the child comes to a